G'day, it's Joel Rasmussen for Southern Cross Combat, and ahead of her fight in Invicta 57, I'm talking to Miss Jamie Edenden. Jamie, thank you so much for the time. How are you today?
I'm excellent. Just eating my lunch, so I'm in a very good mood. You've caught me at the right time.
Oh, excellent. I got you early enough where it's not starving week yet.
Yeah.
What was for lunch?
I just had some chicken mince, veggies, and rice.
Is this like a meal prep scenario?
Yeah. Everything is meal prepped and measured down to the gram to cut to featherweight. So yeah.
But as you mentioned there, cutting a featherweight, is it nice to be back at that weight class? The last time we saw you in MMA, not featherweight. How is it to be back at featherweight?
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's obviously my weight class that I will continue to fight at and look to fight at going forward forever, hopefully. But it is a hard weight for me to get to, so I have to make sure that my diet's on point and my training's on point. I can't even not have a like, be out a gram or be out a day of training because it severely affects my cut. So um, yeah, it's hard work.
Compared to last time, MMA wise at least? Was it at least nice for the last camp to be like, oh, I don't have to worry about it?
Yeah, you know what? My last camp it was pretty amazing because I was basically on weight for the entire camp. The fight was at 75 kilos, and I was basically at 75 kilos for the entire camp. So I was eating like bucket loads of food, and I was happy, and it was just a pleasure to be around. Now I'm cutting to featherweight. I'm a bit of a grump, and I'm hungry, and but I'm very grateful. So
Let's say maybe a nice one-time treat to be like, oh, cool, that's what it's like.
yeah, but never again, especially if I'm fighting someone that big.
I talked to you after that fight, so you and I have already kind of discussed that fight. However, as I mentioned, you are fighting for Invicta. You're making your Invicta debut. This is now on the world stage. How is it to be fighting on the world stage?
It's an incredible feeling. I still feels a bit surreal. Like it feels like I'm just gonna go down to heck for, beat down and fight the same girls over and over. But I'm sure when I get there, it's gonna feel pretty incredible. But yeah, it feels good. I'm not being complacent. I know that this is only just the start of my journey to becoming a world champion or to becoming one of the best featherweights in the division. So I am grateful, but I'm still doing the work and still just Jamie.
When we last spoke, it's funny because I always try to talk about the future in like a positive way. I remember I asked you the next time we see you fight, will it be in Australia? And your answer was hopefully not, which is like such like a funny, sad kind of answer.
Yeah,
Like it seems negative, even though it is a positive.
yeah.
But to have this is what you've been working for. You've been working towards this world stage, this fighting on the other side of the planet. How is it to now be here on the doorstep?
It's it's been a long time coming. It feels, yeah, obviously after my last fight, I had no idea what the next step was. I had girls in Australia that had or in New Zealand that I had already fought wanting to fight me again. Some for the third time, some for the second time, and I just knew that I was destined for bigger and better things. And my manager Jeremy and Ryan Dunstan, also my coach, were just like, just be patient. Something big is going to come, and he worked really hard, Jeremy, to get me this fight. And he does a lot of work for me to get paid for. So big shout out to him and thanks to him for doing such a great job in getting me this opportunity.
Talking about some of the hard work, while yes, that kind of does fall on the management and relationships and connections and so forth. What has the journey been like to getting this fight? As you said, you win your last fight, and your attitude is like, I don't know what's happening next because there isn't a clear path. So, like, how did this come to be?
Yeah, look, we've been talking obviously to a few different promotions. Obviously the big two, Bellator, PFL, and Invicta, and uh, Bellator sort of were a bit like we're not really signing until next year, or they weren't really giving us a definite answer. So I was kind of like um, a bit confused and a bit kind of in no man's land, wondering what I was going to do next. And for me, I have to have a time to get to featherweight. I can't just get to featherweight next week. Like I have to know in advance so I can and start to do the cut and to change my calories and stuff. And when we got the information from Invicta that they were keen to sign me, I was like over the moon and just started crying instantly. And then I originally had signed the contract to fight someone else. I won't say the name because I'm hopeful that I can fight her next if I win. And she was an undefeated prospect, but she got injured. So then I got given Abby Montes' name, and like to me, it wasn't even a question; it was always a yes. So obviously, my coaches went straight to work doing their research, and she's fought some pretty big names, and we've just come up with a game plan, and you guys will see it next week.
I wanted to talk about Abby. I was going to bring her up a bit later, but we'll talk about the opponent now. You are fighting Abby Montes. Obviously, not to reveal the game plan, but what do you make of her? As you said, she's accomplished quite a bit. I spoke to Ryan about it when he was down in Melbourne last week. She is a very accomplished girl. What do you make of her as an opponent?
Her record definitely doesn't portray how good she is as a fighter. She's 4-3, but her losses have only been to really, really good people on the world stage. She's already been at the level that I want to go to. So she's already experienced the crowds and the spectacle of being on the world stage. So her nerves might not be as high as mine, and she might. Who knows? I don't know what she. Obviously, don't know her, but from what I've seen, she's a great fighter. She comes forward, she throws heavy hands, and to be honest, I have never fought anyone like that. I've had 35 or 36 fights, and I've never fought anyone that will come and meet me in the middle. So I'm so fucking pumped for this. I'm so excited to have someone who actually, well, hopefully stands in the middle and wants to actually fight, because I've never had it. I usually fight someone who has good footwork or who moves around or who's a wrestler. I never have someone who actually wants to just stand there and fight. So I'm so excited.
You mentioned there you're not sure how her nerves will be. How are your nerves?
Um, Look, I don't want to say I don't get nervous, because I do get nervous. I get nervous to win and how I'm going to showcase my skills, but I know that I've done the work. I literally have just left no stone unturned for this fight camp, and my coaches, they've been pushing me really hard. My teammates have been pushing me really hard. So anything that she does to me on the night, I haven't seen a million times in the gym from my teammates or seen in a fight before. So I feel like I'm very well prepared. And on the night, I just get excited because I just love to fight. As you know, I take boxing fights, I take Muay Thai fights, I take whatever fight is offered me because I just love fighting. So a little bit nervous, but more excited.
I wanted to bring up the Muay Thai fights and the boxing fights. Now, as we get into the world stage, we begin fighting for Invicta. We're fighting some of the best girls in the world. Are we now all in on MMA? Are we not going to worry about that anymore?
Look, I was always all in on MMA, but I unfortunately couldn't get the opponents. I couldn't get the number of fights that I wanted. I want to fight regularly. I don't want to be one of these people that only fights 1 or 2 times a year. I want to fight minimum 4 times a year. I don't want to waste my prime. I don't want to waste, this athletic body and my fitness and everything else. I want to use it while it's here. So I was just taking the boxing fights, one for money because boxing does pay pretty good, two for exposure to get my name out there, and three just to fight because I couldn't get MMA fights at the time. So I was taking those fights. And I've been offered a million Muay Thai fights, and I've always said no to them. But this one, I just couldn't say no. It's too much of a cool opportunity to go and do it. But yeah, I tell you what, Muay Thai is fucking hard. It's so hard. Like MMA is hard. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, with MMA, it's like it sounds a bit cringy, but MMA's boxing's a job. Boxing, I go there, I fight, I get paid, I leave. Muay Thai, I go there, I get paid, I leave. MMA, especially in my Australian career, I always have to sacrifice my purse. I sacrifice the weight, I sacrifice the location. So for me, it's not almost not about money. It's kind of the only thing that sets my soul on fire. When I'm in the cage, I feel that's my purpose. It's my destiny. I don't get that feeling with boxing. So MMA is definitely the only road now.
Nothing cringy about that at all. To be passionate about what you do is fantastic. Uh, just jumping back to Abby real quick, you're talking about not only as you said, like she's lost to some of the best, she's also beaten some very good girls as well. She's got some W's on her record that are very, very good. Um, is this fight the measuring stick? Is this fight you're making your American debut fighting this girl, and you're like, if I can hang with her, if I can beat this girl, I can hang with those people who are that next step up.
Definitely. I do feel that Janae was the first test for me because, even though she was on a bit of a losing kind of streak and she was on her way back down, she still has fought and beaten some really good people. So she was kind of the first test. And then with Jenna, it was a big test, but because she was so much bigger and I had to come up to weight classes, I've never really fought or haven't fought someone who's at 66 who's actively on the world stage. You know what I mean? So fighting Abby is definitely, she's a good name to take. It's a good win for me to fight someone against, she's beaten Clarissa Shields. So she's no bum. She's one of the best at featherweight. So if I can beat her, then that definitely puts me in a really, really good position with Invicta.
Talking about like considering your Muay Thai and boxing and striking experience, as you said, what was the number you said? It's 30 something fights.
I've had 36 fights in total.
So this is in total, yes, 36 fights over those sports. But
Mm.
I feel in the MMA game, which is something you've talked about, how it's difficult to find fights, you can go very far very quickly.
Mm.
Like 4-3 doesn't seem like a super in-depth record, but just because
No,
of the state of the game, how is that for you to be in your career where it's not necessarily 40 MMA fights, but you still have that ability to go forward? And Ryan said in a few fights he could see you fighting for a title.
definitely. I haven't really been doing MMA long. Like I've been fighting for a long time, but in the scheme of things, I haven't really been doing MMA for that long. I haven't been wrestling for that long. I haven't been doing jiu-jitsu for that long. And I don't even feel like I'm close to being in my prime yet. I'm 30 years old and I haven't even reached it. So it's pretty exciting for me because every fight that I'm having and every training session, I'm just getting better and better and better and refining my skills. And, everyone knows me as a striker. I throw heavy hands and heavy shots, but now I'm a wrestler too. So, it's harder to prepare for me because they don't know what I'm going to bring. Um, so yeah, to me, it's just super exciting to be able to showcase more and more skills and new things that I can bring to the cage.
You are fighting, as we've said, for Invicta. That is a women's only promotion. It's the top one. What does that mean for you? It's not only getting that opportunity to fight on the world stage, but in such a place that puts forward women's MMA.
Yeah, the team at Invicta, they've been really supportive of me. It's really hard to get fights being in Australia, not just at featherweight, but being in Australia because we are so far away. Like I leave on Monday, I think I'm going to be traveling for like 36 hours or something to get to the States. So, not only are we traveling a long way, it costs them a lot of money to bring us over. So I'm just full of gratitude for the Invicta team. They didn't have to say yes. They could have taken plenty of other featherweights. So that means to me that they can see something inside of me that I could potentially be their next champion or be one of their top ranked featherweights. And yeah, I mean, Invicta is also a platform for other promotions. I can't go to the UFC myself because I can't make bantamweight, but for those other weight classes, it's a platform or a road to get to the UFC. So how many people have we seen go through Invicta that have gone to the UFC to win the UFC belt? So it's a great platform for women, and yeah, I'm excited to fight on an all female card. I think it's going to be sick.
Do you think this will be the most the most female fighters you will ever have shared a room with when you're out the back? Is this the highest amount, do you think?
Definitely, there's been fight shows where I've been the only female, or there might be one other female on the card. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to do the presser if there's a presser and some interviews and to meet other fighters from different cultures and different gyms and yeah, just immerse myself in it.
Now, not only is it, Invicta pushes the WMMA space, but they've been very good to Australians. Megan Anderson a former champion there, and now I believe she's involved in it in the business side. Um, to kind of, I don't necessarily want to use the word follow in her footsteps, but what did like was Megan Anderson someone that you kind of looked up to? What are your thoughts on her?
Yeah, definitely. I know her. Well, I don't know her personally, but I know that she has had struggles with her weight as well. You know, she's a tall woman, so getting to featherweight for her was a struggle. And she started in Invicta. She got the championship belt, then went to the UFC. And I'm very lucky to have women like her that I can look up to, and still follow in their footsteps. I would like to be the next Invicta featherweight champion, and that would make only two Australians. So I think I don't know how much of that, but I'm pretty sure it's only two Australians that have won that belt. So it's an absolute privilege to be able to do that, as Megan Anderson had already done it, and then she went to the UFC and fought Amanda Nunes, and it'll be an honor to be able to meet her, and I think she's going to be calling the fight, which is freaking cool too. So yeah, the whole experience, I'm just pumped for it.
So maybe you'll get a chance to share some words with Megan.
That'll be cool. That'll be cool. I've seen her do like a post-fight interview, so if she does that, I might wean myself a little bit.
That might be more intimidating than the fight.
Yeah, yeah. So no, that'll be cool, and hopefully there'll be some some other people there that have been in Invicta or fighting for Invicta that are now in the UFC. So it'll be cool.
Before we started recording, we were talking about training a little bit and the gym, and you've referenced it throughout. I assume you're in Ignite at the moment, like a back room or something.
Yeah, yeah, in the office.
So there's a collection of trophies and medals. Is there anything back there that belongs to you?
It's pretty much all mine. Uh, there's a few up there that are Ryan Dunstan's trophies. Um, but yeah, all the medals are pretty much mine. There's one of Jake's up there as well. Those belts aren't mine. There's a brown belt up there. I wish that was mine, but that's not mine.
How far off are we from the brown belt?
Oh, mate, I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care.
Oh, well,
I
that
don't.
changed pretty quick.
I don't care about the belts. To be honest, I love training and I love um, but I don't put enough time into it to be able to. I've got my blue belt. I don't know, 6 months ago or something, which it took a long time for me to get. But I think I'll put more focus into that when I retire, maybe.
I don't know. Do you? I don't know if I can see you in the gi.
I my gi actually have a gi over there, but it's just for show, just an ornament.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, I just like, no offense to people that want to do it. It's just not my thing. I do MMA specific grappling, obviously, for my fights, but I'm just not interested in that side of the sport as, as grading or anything like that. But definitely one day I'll probably commit more time to it.
So it went from I wish that brown belt was mine to I do not care for the belt system.
Hey, I said the brown belt's not mine, and one day it might be, but not soon.
Not not the top priority.
Yeah, no, it's not. I definitely want to get a belt in MMA, or a professional belt in MMA, and hopefully the next one I get will be a world championship belt. So,
Absolutely. But talking about the gym, I spoke about this with Dunstan last week. I feel like the gym's in a very, very good spot at the moment. You know, Jake Piper's just fought, but still over the next little bit, there's Piper, there's yourself, two guys on this weekend for Eternal. Gouchy's getting ready. What is the feeling in the gym right now? What's the training room like?
yeah, mate, the gym is going off. It is. There is so much high level shit going on here. It's crazy. Like, not even from the pros. It's the amateur team that we have coming through. As fans, you and I and everyone else are going to be spoiled with what we see in the next couple of years. Like, my kind of era, and me myself, we're kind of grinders. We work hard. We come into fight as this new era of MMA fighters are so technical and skilled and talented. Like, we have a few guys in our gym that I just watched them spar, and I was like, oh my god, you guys are like, once they grow into their bodies and get a little bit of their man strength, is what I call it, they're going to be incredible, and it's so exciting for us as fans to be able to see this next generation come through.
With I've spoken about this with some people about getting to the biggest show can either make you better because you feel you need to step up, or it can be a lot of pressure, and some people don't like it. while you are a professional and you train professionally for all your fights and you take every fight seriously, to be training for this fight, does it feel different? Are you doing anything different? Is there a different mentality?
Yes and no. Obviously, every fight that I have going forward from now is the biggest fight that I'm going to have because all of the opponents are going to be good, world class opponents. But I do the work. I don't slouch in training. I look around the room. I walk into the fighters class and I look around the room and I say to Dunstan, I want the best in the gym. So if Sean's there, I want him. If Dave's there, I want him. I do all my sparring rounds with the best guys that we have here. I don't do any work with women. I do it all with men. I do it with big, strong men. So, you know, I do feel the preparation is the same, but I am also preparing for Abby. You know, I'm not just training for the sake of training. I'm preparing for her and her style. And the guys do their best to simulate her style when I'm sparring. And you know, they hit me hard. They don't go easy on me. They hit me hard and they wrestle me hard. So I'm prepared for anything a woman's going to bring me.
I'm someone who's been fortunate enough to watch you fight before. As you know, as you begin to make this transition out of the Australian scene, I'm very fortunate that I got to see it. Both in MMA, I got to see the striking matches. Uh, for the people who don't know, for the people who are going to be introduced to Jamie Edenden in Invicta 57, what should they expect?
Well, they should definitely have a toilet break and a drink break before my fight comes on because they are going to be entertained. You know that bit in Gladiator was like, "Are you not entertained?" That's me. I'm entertaining. I'm exciting. You don't know what I'm going to bring. You know that I'm going to bring good striking and heavy hands, but every fight I'm bringing a new skill set. So they should be watching out for that.
Jamie, I thank you so much for the time. One final question from me. It's a little bit of an odd one. Might not even be something you've ever thought about, but I just noticed it, especially with the announcement of this fight. Is it weird to have an iconic photo of yourself? That photo of you, hands out like this, you're like screaming. I can't remember what the top says. I think it says full something. I can't remember. Is that weird to have like an iconic photo?
Um, it's such a cool photo. You know, it's funny. I actually, to my left, I actually have that photo hanging up in a glass frame in my office because it was such an iconic moment in my life. You know, like I was 1-2-1, and I just fought Janae, who was the biggest fight I've ever had, and I absolutely annihilated her. And it was such a good feeling. So every time that photo comes up, it just makes me feel good and smile. And the fact that it's doing the rounds now is so cool. And Beatdown will be stoked with it because it's their photo. And I think Mitch took that photo. So yeah, he's just stoked that it keeps going around. And the logo on the front is one of my sponsors, ASN. So they'd also be stoked that it's doing the rounds in the US. So it's pretty cool.
It's just funny if people go to the social media now, it's like that photo over and over again. Everyone's using that photo to announce this fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I just thought it was interesting to be like, yeah, young in the career, but be like, there's already an iconic photo.
yeah. It's cool. Yeah.
You mentioned sorry, what were you gonna say?
I said there'll be plenty more to come.
Absolutely. Um, you mentioned that you fly out Monday. It is a bit of a travel to get over to the States. What does the kind of the rest of the time before you fight look like for you?
So obviously I'll continue my training. I've got my last kind of really hard session tonight. We call them Death Squad rounds, where they're kind of like a spider, but Brian's version of it. So that will be my last hard day because from here I do have to cut the weight, and my calories are really low. So I'll continue to cut the weight, and then we've got the big fight show on Saturday night, Eternal. So I'll watch that, and then go and watch the UFC on Sunday. And then I'm off. I'm on a plane on my way to the USA, and it's going to be a long trip. But seriously, I'm like a 2 year old. If you gave me a pillow, I could go to sleep right now. Like I can sleep anywhere. Um, yeah, people get pissed off with me because I can literally get on a plane, put a pillow behind my neck, and I'm asleep in 2 seconds. So it's not really for me. I was like, I'm gonna get jet lagged. I'm like, nah, I won't. I'll just sleep the whole way. So um, yeah, it'll be interesting to be a part of the American culture. And man, I can't wait to eat. I cannot wait to eat American food.
Do you know what the go-to meal will be after the fight?
Well, apparently Kansas City are known for uh, chili cinnamon scrolls or something like that. So I like to go to a place and get like what they're known for, like so I'll have that the next day, but my go-to after a fight is always ice cream. I love sweets and I love ice cream. So I'll go to their shop. I don't know what their shops are over there and pick out a good ice cream and just mung into that after the fight.
Is it one particular flavor or whatever you feel like?
Well, I don't know what they have over there, but usually it's like something delicious like cookies and cream or over here they have this really new delicious one. I can't remember the brand of it, but it's a Biscoff flavored ice cream. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what they got. It
I
might be
feel,
two or three.
yeah, actually, I feel like Biscoff might be the secret weapon of the Dunstan Death Squad because Piper was also having some. I remember when he was down in Melbourne, he was eating Biscoff
Yeah,
and pretzels.
yeah,
So I feel like it
yeah.
might be the secret thing.
Yeah, yeah. Biscoff goes off, mate. If you haven't ever had Biscoff, you need to get onto it. It is the best. It's the best thing to ever be invented.
I think I might know what I'll be doing the moment this interview finishes. Jamie, I thank you so much for the time. Safe travels over there. Good luck in the fight. Get home safe. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.